Welcome to the 2020 edition of the Football Officials Video Training Series. What a crazy year, but we're studying the National Federation of High School Rules and 5-man mechanics. Technical assistance provided by Dax Hill, Greg Downham, and George Demetrio. Our video producer is Matt Bivens, executive producer Walt Coleman, and I'm your host, Todd Allen. Back in the saddle here for 2020. It's been a weird year. I'm not the only one feeling it, I know, but it's just been hard for me to get back into the groove. No scrimmages to work early in the year, and summer was kind of just, it's just weird. Let's get started with some plays. Several to look at here. We're going to look at some in-depth stuff in the rules, and also just going to talk about some basic mechanics. We'll start with this punt play. What's relevant about this particular kick play in 6.2.3, and it just says any K player may catch or recover a scrimmage kick while it's in or behind the neutral zone in advance, unless it is during a try. Now let's take a look at this particular play, and I want you to keep an eye on the line judge, which is just off the bottom left of your screen here. And what I want to point out is you can see, let me stop it right here. Look at his head. And what's great about this, Mr. Line Judge, is you just get a feel that this is a shanked kick, and I get that, but what you've got to do is discipline yourself to keep your head down and then just stand still and figure out until you figure out what's happening. You want to keep your eyes on the player in the field and on all of the players, and especially in the area which is your primary coverage area, which is just this area right in here. So, and there's some players in this area that you definitely need to keep an eye on. So, and it's just a discipline. You will figure out what happens when the ball comes down and drops back into your field of vision. So we see the ball rolls and this big lineman just picks it up and we shut the play down. And I don't want you to be overly technical with the neutral zone here. Let's go back to the very beginning of the play. Look where the head linesman is standing. He's right on the 21-yard line. Also, the box right behind him on the 21-yard line. So we know this ball is picked up, and if we go back up here and look at this very close, you can see kind of where his hands are going. A camera angle's not great here, but some questions came up in our association about, well, hey, what about could they have picked this up and advanced it? And I just think from where this ball is and how this all plays out, I think this was properly officiated. I would also shut this play down as a dead ball kicking team player has picked it up beyond the neutral zone, and it is a dead ball, and we just go over on downs. And that's what happened in this game, and I want you to know no one during the game even questioned the call. None of the players. Look at them. I mean, nobody's thinking that, the kicking team could pick it up in advance. But you move this ball back a yard, and he picks this up at the 20, and this is a freaking live ball. Now, I'm going to bring up one more point, and next week I'm going to show you a different play in how the officials handle things. But when momentarily all 22 players pause on the field, like in this play, it is great to shut it down. And we do the right thing here. This is properly officiated ball, picked up beyond the neutral zone. Very, very tight, though. The important thing about showing this play on this training tape, 6.2.3, you understand the rule, and you're ready when these plays happen to properly officiate scrimmage kicks. Let's switch gears here and go into the passing game. We've got a great end zone shot. Look at the high-quality video here. And I want you to keep an eye on this player right here, defensive end. On the left side of your screen, and the quarterback's in the pocket, just looking for a receiver, scrambling around a little bit. And the big tackle here, arm completely around the waist. When we talk about offensive holding or holding in general, what we're wanting to see is a material restriction. And a material restriction, what exactly is that? And this defender is going to show you a material restriction. Look at the hands flail. Look at the shoulders twist. And if I freeze frame this, when we see the first indication this is happening, then we see the quarterback still has the ball. And he's a couple of steps away from him. So a big chance here for a potential sack by the defense. And we have an offensive holding here. Who's going to have a good look at this? Referee, this is all you, baby. You have got a great look at this from your position. Let's talk about the referee position. We can't actually see him in this play, but we want to talk about from the line of scrimmage, 12 to 14 yards out, and then 5 yards to the outside of the tight end, normal tight end position on the quarterback's strong side, on his throwing side. So with this, we're going to be right out here looking straight through like this. And we should have a great look at this. And we have all the elements. The tackle is beat on the play. He reaches across, grabs the waist of the defender. Material restricts him. Defender moves, flails, shoulders twist around. Clearly a material restriction. Doesn't get much better than that as far as a look go. So great video. This play is improperly officiated. We do not call offensive holding. In our category, this goes in as a no call. We would expect for the referee to make this call for offensive holding. Right at the point of attack, definitely had an impact on the play. Other elements we're looking for when we call offensive holding. I digress back into the kicking game, and I just love these plays, but they are incredibly difficult to officiate. And we think about the kicking game as kind of a game inside of a game because it has its own special crazy rules. And I get that from my early impressionable years officiating and reading the Rogers Reading Studying Guide, which I still use today. It's a great resource. But let's just look. This particular play is not in the kicking game rules, which are in Chapter 6, but this one's in 9.4.5, or illegal personal conduct. Or contact, and what it just says is running into or roughing the kicker or holder. A defensive player shall neither run into the kicker nor the holder, which is contact that displaces the kicker or holder without roughing, nor block, tackle, or charge into the kicker of a scrimmage kick or the place kick holder, other than when A, contact is unavoidable because it's not reasonably certain that a kick will be made, B, the defense touches the kick near the kicker and contact's unavoidable, C, contact is slight and is partially caused by movement of the kicker, or D, contact is caused by R when blocked into the kicker or holder by K. Now let's take a look at this play. Now this happens very early. Look at the style of this kicker. He's not a traditional kicker which steps forward and kicks the ball. This is a what I call a rugby style kicker because he's going to run and kick the ball. And the greatest rugby-style kickers are such a threat because they can run if the defense doesn't defend the play exactly the way the kicking team is set up. Or he can go ahead and kick it if they defend him or defend the run very, very well. So it's just an option play, in my opinion. And in this play, he takes off as a rugby-style kicker. Now, what that means is when he takes off running, I'm going to back it up here and show you this again. When he takes off with this run, in my opinion, he is a runner. He is a runner that transitions very rapidly to a kicker, but it's not reasonably obvious that a kick's going to be made because he's running with the ball. So this play, we officiate this with a no call. We do not call any foul on the receiving team, and I think this is a correct call because the kicking style of this player, and we watch it again here several times. I back it up back and forth here and show it to you also in slow motion. It's not quite as obvious. I like looking at these plays at full speed because that's the way the defenders are looking at this play. They're looking at it full speed, and I just don't think it's reasonable that this guy's going to be a kicker. He's using the rugby style. When he uses that style, he gains a great advantage, but he gives up his right to claim that it's reasonable he's going to kick the ball and the protections of a kicker. So on this play, properly officiated, this is not roughing the kicker. One more kick play, and I promise I'm done with these for at least a week. And I want to point out something on this play with the line judge. Again, look right down here at the bottom of our screen. And as the kick goes away, look, and you can really tell when the head comes back. And although nothing happens on this play, that's just a bad habit. And that bad habit is going to get you into trouble. Line judge, keep your head down and focused on the players at or near the line of scrimmage until you completely separate them for the end of the play. Back judge, headlines, and back there don't need your help. Don't watch the ball. Watch the players you're responsible for because there's only 3 of you now that have all 22 players on the field. So keeping your correct vision and focus and concentrate on this area of the field is critically important. Just wanted to point that out. That's it for this week's training video. Thanks for sticking with me till the end. I do have a couple of very important kick plays that I want to look at next week. So before we look at those plays, think about the kicking rules in much, much greater detail. Your back judge should be an expert on the kicking game rules, and every week he should lead a pregame discussion about how the rules impact the game. The most important thing to remember is Federation rules so much different than NCAA or the NFL. The status of a kick remains a kick until someone possesses the ball or the ball becomes dead by rule. So when we're dealing with the end zone, there's a lot of crazy things. The rules can be so much different in high school football. So you definitely need to have an expert on your crew, and everyone should be intimately familiar with the kicking game. I've often said this, and a lot of people way smarter than me have said it. Kicking game's the most difficult part of the game to officiate, not just because we're spread out all over the field, but because the rules are so much different. So you got to spend extra time on that, especially early in the season. As we move toward conference play, we can't afford mistakes relative to the kicking game, especially when they involve some type of opportunity for a scoring play. So be thinking about that. Also, be thinking about hydration, not just for the players, but for yourself. It happens the day before. Get yourself in shape. Be ready to go out there and give the kids 110%. But most important, the most important thing that I'm going to say in this week's training video is about to happen right now. Thank you for the sacrifices that you make, the commitment that you make, the time that you spend investing in this game that we love so much, so that young people around the country and heck, around the world can play this game of football. Until next week, for the Arkansas Association of High School Officials, this is Todd Allen saying, I hope to see you on the field real soon.